Welcome to the Terminal Value Podcast. We have Tom Mays with us today, and what we're going to be talking about is what Tom likes to call a PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. Tom actually runs four businesses that, of course, are interrelated. But he's actually had an amazing journey of kind of going through, successes, failures, fits and starts, and into getting where he's at right now. And I felt that it'll be a really good conversation about that ascent toward world class, because it's not always just a point A to point B straight line. In a lot of cases, there's quite a few zigzags. So anyway, Tom, please introduce yourself and don't let me talk too much.
Thanks for having me on the show, Doug. Greatly appreciate it. Love your podcast. Just super quickly go over the four companies and then we can dive into some questions.
Yeah.
The first off being Squadra Capital. It's a commodity and currency traded fund. The second business is Alteza Capital. With that, I do a lot of deal structuring, introductions for real estate projects or technology projects, people that are looking to raise money for their company. Third business is NXT Digital. It's in the NFT space. We assist with artists getting into the NFT space. Do partnerships, help with the marketing and branding. We've got a virtual art gallery that's going to be released in the next 4 weeks with aircoins.io and virtual and augmented reality, which is great. And then the fourth business is I'm super passionate about coaching and mentoring. So I've got the Global Coaching Association, which I founded with about 11 coaches, anywhere from PhDs in artificial intelligence to relationship and spiritual coaches. So I stay busy.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. Well, and so okay, so tell us. So I guess let me back up a little bit. In the pre-show, we were talking a little bit about how you were saying that you really, if you were thinking about something that you really wish you could have keyed onto earlier, it would have been building a team and getting help. And so I think this is kind of going along the School of Hard Knocks theme. So tell us a little bit about some of your experiences have been, and kind of how you've manifested that out into the way that you've built your companies.
Absolutely. And the School of Hard Knocks, I was literally just talking with my business coach yesterday, and he's like, Tom, you're just like smashing into the same wall over and over and over again. When you're going to look at the wall, identify it, and go around the wall. And I'm a stubborn guy. I'm a driven guy, but I'm stubborn. So I keep going. And that's what, in my opinion, the School of Hard Knocks is when you're really just on a journey trying to figure it out for yourself, and you're going through the struggles and the overcoming that you need to so that you can progress. And as you mentioned, reaching out for help, as we were talking about before the show, being like humble enough and being self-aware that I do not have the tools or the mindset needed for me to be able to progress at the rate that I want to progress is extremely valuable. And it's been one of the greatest things that have helped me succeed. And I think of somebody like Richard Branson, who is, 150 companies, he's incredible. His mindset is everything, right? So for me, reaching out is extremely important. And then building a team that can facilitate and see the dream and the vision of where you want to progress with that company, with that project, and relying on their strengths and to fill in with your weaknesses and collaborate instead of just trying to be a one-man show.
Got it. Got it. Well, and okay, so let's talk me through sort of how that has kind of how that's unfolded in your companies, because I think a lot of what you're doing has to do with with either asset management or with coordinating people who are looking to raise capital with your capital partners, with either family offices, VC firms, etc. It feels like something like that could get overwhelming very quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, it can get overwhelming for sure. And there's two parts I want to touch on here. One is communication skills, and the first thing I'm going to hit on is overwhelm. But if you are able to like build systems and processes and have people that you can rely on, then it's not overwhelming. When you feel overwhelmed is when you're in a situation that you cannot control, or you do not feel that you're in an adequate strength spot to handle the situation. So for myself, I always knew that I'm never going to be the smartest person in the room. That's not my goal. My goal is to know the smartest people that I can bring into the room. So anytime that I take on a project or a company, I know that it's not just on my shoulders, because I can call, Jack, and I can call Carl, and I can call Anthony and whoever it is to come and help out with that specific issue. Henry Ford is a great example.
Mhm.
They were interviewing him and they asked him, like, how does this work in your engine? How does this work in the transmission? And he said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, in the interview. And then they asked him, it's like, well, how can you own a car manufacturing business but not know these things? And he's like, it's not my job. I know the people that know those things. I have teams of people that know those things. So he put himself in a situation where his team and his environment, his culture, the people that surrounded him
Yeah.
were the tools that he needed to build a very, very successful company and scale it from there. Again, he was humble enough to realize that he wasn't going to be the one-man show.
Yeah.
And there wasn't one other part to this that I wanted to cover, which was, what was the other thing? It was being overwhelmed.
Oh, it was
Communication. That was
that's
what
right,
it was. Like,
communication.
so they say, when you're building teams of people, you ask, like, how did I kind of get started with this? And I believe communication, they say, what's the highest paid skill in the world? And CEOs, it's communication. They're able to delegate to teams, they're able to organize teams of people, they're able to build these relationships with high net worth individuals, family offices, venture capital firms, other companies, strategic partnerships. So really putting a high value on developing your relationship skills, your communication skills. In my opinion, it's probably going to be one of the most important skills that you have in your business if you want to scale. If you just want to be a 2 or 3 or 4 man team, communication skills is not a huge issue.
Although I would say even if you're just going to be a team of a few people, if your communication skills are poor, that will be a very high drama 2 to 3 person team.
That is very true. Very true. Yeah.
Okay, well, all right. So I think we're talking about kind of going through the process of sort of knocking your head against the wall, and figuring out what to do. Now, what would you say was that turning point? I mean, if I'm going to guess, I would, because you were talking about where you were counseling with your business coach, and so a lot of people I've talked with have said that it's really when they decided to get regular coaching. I don't know if that's the case for you. I don't want to lead the witness, but what's been your experience as far as what really kind of created that turning point?
Absolutely. It actually began coming out of high school.
Yeah.
I was involved with some sales companies, and I had like a sales leader,
Uh-huh.
and they were teaching me some sales skills, and I was like, man, I was doing this on my own for like 3 or 4 months, but having one meeting with them once a week helped me perform such a higher level. And then I also read a few books that totally, like, paradigm shift, greatly
Yeah.
changed my life. And I just would put the book down and stare at the wall and be like, wow, this is incredible. In the past like 2 hours of reading, I feel like I've learned more than in like my whole grade 12 year. And that value, I wanted to, like, it sparked this hunger in me to like
Mhm.
learn more. And I was like, I want to learn more from people that have done more than I have, whether that's through interactions with them of communication, Zoom calls, in person, or through reading about them, reading about incredible
Yeah.
entrepreneurs or business people. Why reinvent the wheel when other people have already invented the wheel,
Yeah.
and just build upon the wheel instead of recreate it.
Yeah, well, and because I think it was Tony Robbins who said that when you read a book, what you're basically doing is taking 10 years of somebody else's life and compressing it into about 2 to 4 hours.
Exactly.
And so then what that really says is that, okay, now of course you want to make sure you read stuff that's meaningful, but if we if we make that as a null assumption, then that would mean that of course as you go out and consume more books, what you're doing is you're essentially getting being able to compress other people's experience, a lot of other people's experience, and then bring those into your life. This is of course assuming that you apply it.
Exactly.
All right, well, okay, so tell me a little bit about how kind of your progression of businesses really got going, because 4 businesses is a lot, and so I'm assuming that you didn't start out saying, hey, I think I want to have 4, I want to have 4 independently running businesses. I'm curious to kind of know how it all built out.
Yeah, absolutely. And to add on just quickly before I go into that, is with the business coaches. I mean, my business coach is 62 years old, and the amount of years of business experience he has is
Yeah.
just so tremendous compared to what I've built, and how many businesses he's
Yeah.
had, how many employees. So it's so worthwhile. And, if you look at any kind of professional
Uh-huh.
athlete, they have a nutrition coach, performance coach, et cetera, et cetera. So why not apply the same principles to business?
Yeah.
Um, and getting started, my first, yeah, I would say my first entrepreneurial businesses were, like building sales teams for affiliate marketing companies,
Hmm.
affiliate marketing businesses. I had a lot of different teams of people. That's really how I started in my communication skills, my leadership skills, my team building skills came from a lot of affiliate marketing. And then from there, I started a construction company for a short time. I was building a
Hmm.
construction company, did a lot of like project management and whatnot. And then from there, it was quite a transition. I was always investing and trading a very
Yeah.
significant amount ever since I was in high school, actually, with my father. And then I really love the finance space because it's extremely scalable. You can have a small team of people and you can manage a large amount of money, and then you can go from there. So co-founded Squadra Capital, got into the commodity and currency traded funds, built a team of about 8 people there. And then I always look for businesses that are horizontally integrated,
Hmm.
opposed to like, you have your vertical business verticals within each opportunity, but then you have horizontally integrated other businesses. So Alteza Capital, I knew that a lot of those contacts that I was already putting the effort into
Yeah.
build for Squadra Capital could be utilized in a different way. And I could service them in a better way so that they're also more attracted to Squadra Capital. So that's how that came up. Anytime that I see that I'm leaving money on the table, or there's
Uh-huh.
like opportunity with a client or with a partnership, where it's really obvious that, hey, if I had a solution for this person, I could have made 20 grand. If I had a solution for him, I could have made $100,000. It just drives me insane. So then I'm like, well, I don't want to just leave that money. I'm either going to like send that person to my friend or a colleague or somebody so that they can make the money instead of leaving it on the table. And then I just think, well, I have the resources. I have, 7 other people that I could talk to about starting this new business. Let me see if I can start the new business. So then I call those 7 people, I get them together, I get them in a room, I cast the vision, I tell them how we're going to do it, I formulate a plan, and then I pitch them the idea. Out of the 7 people, maybe 3 or 4 are like, Tom, you're crazy and I love it, let's try it. So then we try it, right? And then we launch that business, and then we go for it and we see how it does and see how it grows, and we explore new opportunities within that business. And then, yeah, it's honestly just like a different series of events. Third year, and then year and a half later started the other one, and then a year later started the NFT business.
Yeah.
And then the coaching association is going to be launched in the next week here. So that's a new business. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Wow, that's quite a journey. Well, like, and one of the things I was wondering, because like you'd mentioned that especially kind of building network into, say, into people who either have capital, have access to capital. That's an extremely valuable network. How did you go about doing that?
Hmm. Great question. I get that question asked a lot, to be honest. And sometimes I'm just like astonished by the personal phone numbers that I have of some of my contacts. And some of these people, like, if they're going to go to raise capital, they've got to go and speak with the administrator, and then they've got to talk with the
Yeah.
consultant, and then they've got to talk with the vice president, and then they
Yeah.
talk with the CEO, and then they finally get a check. Where like I can literally just call the CEO and just have a conversation with him. So it's
Yeah.
like a totally different relationship.
Yeah.
But I would say like the way that I've done it is by being like I like to say like a go-giver. Like I'm so
Uh-huh.
focused on helping other people progress and so focused on helping other people achieve their goals. I get a phenomenal amount of referrals where
Yeah.
they're like, hey Tom, I really think you should connect with this guy. Hey, this guy could be a potential avenue or exploration for this project. And that's because I'm always telling my contacts, hey, go talk to this person, go talk to that person, right? So it's been a great amount of referrals. And
Hmm.
then through the grapevine of different meetings and stuff, when you walk into a room, you can generally understand who are the people in there that have the influence, that have the power, that have the control. And then I gravitate towards those people. If I'm at a friend's get together and there's 45 people there, and I can read the body language
Yeah.
and the room, and I realize that 5 people are in there are like of great influence, then I want to get to know those people. And
Yeah.
I do it in a very nonchalant way. I do it step by step, build a relationship. I don't run up to them and try to harass them, of course, right? But I just, yeah, act like I belong with them as a friend, and then it goes from there.
Got it. Got it. Well, that's excellent. It's
And
outstanding.
try to add value to them, right? Like that's what I
Uh-huh.
was saying with the connections is, how can I help your business? How can
Yeah.
I, what can I bring you? Can I do a research report for you? Can I bring, what can I do? I'll do it
Yeah.
for you.
Well, and I think that's a really powerful tool there because I mean, like I'm sure you're just like me, which is where anytime you open Facebook or Instagram Messenger, you get all the people who are direct messaging you trying to pitch their social media management or guaranteed income crypto forex system,
Yeah.
or I don't know, there's something I think I guess I was I was arguing with some fellows the other day, or not really arguing, but like, people don't do the thing where it's like, they send you this like 4 paragraph pitch, and if you don't respond, they'll send a question mark, and
Right.
and then
Sure,
and
please
so
respond, sir.
yeah, so then the guy says something like says something like, oh, is there a problem? And I go, there's not a problem, it just feels like the other 100,000 pitches that I've seen. He's like, well, this isn't a pitch. I'm like, okay, I'm just telling you how it feels to me. If you feel like you're not pitching, fine. If that's what you have to do to make revenue for your business, fine. But
Yeah.
I'm just, it's just, I don't know, the taxonomy of how the market is. It's like people, they don't even try to to do something valuable before before they're asking you to sign up and give them money. And I'm like, come on, you
Yeah,
know.
totally,
But
totally. And you're paid for the value that you provide, right? So just like you
exactly.
said, when you provide no value, you're not going to get any money. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people forget that, when you're trying to get money from people, they're actually real people, like
Right.
have a genuine conversation with them, or tell them that you don't want to have a genuine conversation. I literally got a message
Yeah.
yesterday that said, hey, Tom, I know you're a co-founder of Squadra Capital. I know you're a super busy guy. So let me get straight to the point. And then it was like, are you looking for a social media assistance? Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, this kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, man, I actually really appreciated that cold pitch. I'm
Yeah.
currently not looking for this in my business, but best of luck, and all the other
Yeah.
guys I don't respond to because they're just like, just random spam or whatever. At least this guy was honest and straight up,
Yeah.
and he didn't waste my time with like 15 messages, and then it was
Yeah.
just some random BS anyways, right? So
I will get you kindly 5,000 organic followers, guaranteed real people.
yeah, yeah, 10% per week on your money guaranteed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, hey, I think we're getting close to time. This has been a lot of fun. So what would be the kind of 1 to 2 last, kind of last nuggets of wisdom that you want to leave for people?
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorite points that I'm constantly reminding myself of is, because the destination is not guaranteed, right? Like
Yeah.
I've
No,
got
not at all.
audacious goals. You've got great goals. Everybody has great goals. We want to pursue great things, but I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. I could die in a plane
Yeah.
crash. Knock on wood, none of it happens, but it's possible. I could work my ass off for my whole life and I never get towards my goals. So with that realization, I was never happy building my businesses or like pursuing my goals, because I
Uh-huh.
was never going to be happy until I reached my goals. And I've had like transformation coach who really, really helped me overcome this mindset. And I've been working on it for the past 5 years. But it's been, you know, pursue worthwhile goals
Yeah.
that on the most enjoyable journey that you can find with the best company that you can have.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach 100 million, you want to reach 200 million, you want to be super fit, whatever your goals are, you want to be an Olympian, at least go on the journey that you're going to enjoy. Build a business that you're
Yeah.
going to enjoy, and then bring people onto your team, companions, camaraderie,
Yeah.
partnerships of people that you actually enjoy. So
Yeah.
then it doesn't feel like work. You'll end up working way more. You'll have
Yeah.
fun, and you'll get to the end of your life and you'll be 60, 70 years old. You're like, man, I didn't make 100 million. I made 70. But I sure had a lot of fun and I worked with
Yeah.
amazing people. Or you made 1.5 billion and you had so much fun at the same time. So really focus on where you're going, but like, how are you going to get there and who are you going to be with while you're going there?
Got it. That's outstanding. That's awesome. Well, okay. Well, so like let everybody know where they can reach out to you to learn more. You know, which let us know which socials you're most active on, and yeah, if there's a website that people can connect to you at.
Yeah, so you can connect with me. I'm the most active on LinkedIn, so just Tom
Got it.
Maze on LinkedIn, and then my website is just tommaze.com, so TOMMAZE.com. And with that, I have my businesses listed on there. Anytime that I have a new business I'm working on or something to release, I just post it on there. So it's a nice central location. So thanks again, Doug, so
Gotcha.
much for having me on the,
Hey.
the podcast. It's been an
All
absolute
right.
blast. You have a great show.
Yeah. Outstanding. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. All right. Well, hey Tom, you have a really great rest of your day.
Thank you, sir. You too.